Anyone who has been following what's happening in America closely and honestly would have seen Donald Trump winning from a mile. But for those who aren't doing that or they were lying to them, I'm here to break it down for them. Let's start off with January 6th. It's very funny to see Nigerians that like saying that we should use violence to take Nigeria. I complain about January 6th, but I'm not going to lie, what happened January 6th wasn't good, but it was a riot, not an insurrection. Because for an insurrection to happen, you have to remove a government to install a government. So that's saying Donald Trump wanted to remove himself to install himself. But anyway, people like saying that why did Donald Trump not call them to stop immediately, which he kind of did, but his message was stopped because he was kicked off all platform. He had to even come to CNN town hall with the evidence of that happening.
Back to what happened on that day. You said you weren't.
Say that.
He has testified that, Mr. President.
He did not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out. So if you look at, on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, just at before 2:30, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth, and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No, but you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was taken down.
We did report it. I was reporting that day.
It was taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear.
So that has been debunked. But then there was the January 6th committee that wanted to impeach Trump. It was so funny that every time that they wanted to play that Donald Trump incited violence, they always edit out the parts where he told people to peacefully march to the Capitol. So that's a problem that many people noticed. And then all the story about police were killed in the Capitol turned out to be lie. The only person that got killed was a Trump supporter called Ashley Babbitt. The only police officer that died in his own house, meaning he went back home and died of a heart attack in his own home.
Very clearly, Brian Sicknick walking through the building in apparent health after the media told us for 2 years that he had been murdered. So they were wrong about that. Okay, they got caught. Here's the interesting thing. They won't admit it. Liz Cheney's tweet is still on Twitter tonight. Officer Sicknick was killed defending our Capitol from the violent mob on January 6th. No correction. Anderson Cooper of CNN still has not apologized. Quote, Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the fight, he told us. Those are lies.
Then there was the CCTV cameras that was inside the building that they refused to release, that Tucker Carlson had to release, that showed the police officer opening the doors for them to welcome them with open arms. Even the officer that he claimed died here, the video of him opening and welcoming people. So a lot of people are looking at it and say, why is the evidence showing this? And people are saying that.
You have Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us into this building.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been seen, with the depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media for more than 2 years. He's a terrorist, they said. He should be killed.
Shoot him. Shoot him.
And then some people remembered that in 2020, during the George Floyd riots, Portland, there was a whole section that some people took over and declared it their own government free zone. They are the authorities there and they are doing whatever they want to do there. That's literally an insurrection. But the media ignore it, but they call January 6th insurrection. So, that making people question what exactly is happening in America. And then they started saying that Donald Trump is an evil person because he denies the results of the 2020 election. But anybody with 2 cents of brain or who has been in the political game know that Democrats have denied every single election they have lost, all the way past Bush. 2016, many of them denied it, including Hillary Clinton. Bush versus Gore, they denied it. Heck, even 2018, Stacey Abrams denies the fact that she lost an election in Chicago.
You can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
You win with Russian interference, though.
That's
what
real
I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Russia interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They were successful.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
Al Gore won the election nationwide and also in Florida, but the Supreme Court ruled the other way.
Al Gore got more votes, but not enough to stay out of the Supreme Court, where President Bush was elected 5-4.
Bush versus Gore. A court took away a presidency.
If all the votes were counted in Florida, that Al Gore would be president today and George Bush would be back in office.
So, a lot of people started asking themselves question, why is it okay for Democrats to be election deniers, or when a Republican does that, that's what makes him evil? So if you remember, Trump was banned off every social media and everything. He was literally cancelled. It was only the media that was talking about him. And then Trump came out and said that yes, he is going to run for president again. And that's where most of all these investigations on his head started. Let's look through the 3 major ones. The classified documents that they say were in Trump's house that he refused to return. Okay. FBI raided his house to get the documents, which was very bad and wrong. He was already working with them, so there was no need for an FBI raid. But after that, something very funny happened. We discovered that Joe Biden has classified documents just sitting in his car garage. Now, here's what makes this case very funny. Joe Biden had documents, classified documents, secret documents he shouldn't have since he was a senator.
Or you get Joe Biden with all his flaws.
Also
and
a criminal.
problems. Okay, what is his crime again?
Special counsel Robert Hur said he'd committed felonies, but he wouldn't indict him because he was a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. He couldn't get a conviction in front of a jury.
And what was that crime? That was the...
Classified documents. All over his basement, his garage, everywhere.
Well, okay, again, a false equivalency. They both had classified documents. Here's the difference. Immediately, Biden, he shouldn't have had them. Immediately, he said, oh, sorry, my bad, and gave them back.
That's why he
Trump
didn't get
said,
charged with obstruction. But Trump has 2 classified documents, pieces to his case. One is you had them, and the second is you obstructed justice when we demanded them back. So, okay, against Biden, you don't get charged with obstruction. But number one, where's the classified documents charged against him? He's also a felon. Why can't the difference be one actually had the ability to declassify documents and keep them because he'd been the president, and one didn't because he should have been looking at documents only in a SCIF while a sitting U.S. senator, and clearly he stole classified documents that he wasn't entitled to and never had the ability to declassify them.
People looked at it and said, that makes no sense. Looks like a political witch hunt. Moving on to Letitia James. Letitia James said that Donald Trump overestimated the value of his building, so that is a fraud case and he should be arrested for that. But this is the funny thing about Letitia James. Before she was elected to that position, she campaigned on getting Trump. That was all her campaign. It was not the problem of the people. Her campaign was, I'm going to get Trump. Word for word, she said that she's going to be paying in his ass and he's personally going to know her name.
Will you sue him for us? Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president.
We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money. What is fueling my soul right now is Trump.
This illegitimate president. I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him and then going home.
Yeah, there's no motive there. Now, this is why the case about the building is true. For example, if you want to use your house as collateral or your car or something, you carry it to the people that you needed loan from. Is it not the people's job to look at your car, your house to see if it's actually up to the value that you say it is? So Donald Trump took his building as collateral. The bank looked at it and said, oh yeah, it's up to the amount, and gave him the loan. Now look at this. Donald Trump gave them back the loan plus interest. 10 years later, the state, not the bank, the state is holding Donald Trump for fraud. Donald Trump called the bank to come and testify in his case. Just think about it. The people that they claim Donald Trump defrauded, Donald Trump called them to come and testify on their behalf. And you know what the bank told them? It didn't matter if the building was up to the amount or not. They were going to give Donald Trump the money regardless of the building because they have given him like loans 15 times and he has paid all. They were not defrauded. In fact, they are willing to work with him again. How is this a case? They didn't hear. They still prosecuted him and say he has to pay up to 500 million or something like that. People were saying. Now the last one is that he hired E.G. Carroll. Ask people what happened in that case. They can't explain it, so I'm here to help you out. But before we look at the court case, let me give you some insights to this story, why I don't buy the story. Now, first and foremost, this woman was in her 50s in the 90s and she said Donald Trump did this to her. I call that bullshit because she's in her 50s. I'm not saying somebody in their 50s cannot be hot. I'm saying you definitely know his type in your 50s. She was like 25, going 30 or something like that, 23 self. I was like, yeah, we should look at this case. But in your 50s, come on, girl. In 2012, this same woman tweeted that one of the best shows in America is The Apprentice and another show. Now, you got to think about it. Why would somebody post that her best show that she's watching is the show of somebody who did something terrible to her? And now, here's the part that makes this story really shaky. During the Me Too movement, where women were coming out and saying, this happened to me too, this woman didn't say anything. She kept quiet. Move over to now when Trump wants to come out as president again. This woman writes a book saying what happened to her. After she writes the book and it goes on sale, does she go to the police station? No. She then goes for a media tour, signing the book and going to every station she can go to get her paycheck. After that, then she went to court. Now, in the process of all of this happening, Donald Trump heard it and was like, I don't even really know this woman. She's not even my type. Remember this. She said that Donald Trump forced himself on her in the 90s. Okay, let's look at the case. She said it happened at the Walmart store, in their dressing room, where people started saying, that's funny. If Donald Trump went to Walmart in the 90s, he'll be swarmed with people because, you know, he's Donald Trump. It's like Dangote going to ShopRite and nobody noticed him. But you know what? It's possible. Now, the room that she said it happened, the dressing room, usually it's supposed to be locked. But you know what? Never mind. But here's where the problem started coming out. She said she still has the clothes that she wore on that day that it happened and presented it in court. And the people that make the clothes said that that's not possible because at that year that she claimed that it happened, they haven't released the clothes. The court is like, we don't really see evidence that Trump did this, but you know, he's liable for that. And the time when Donald Trump said that she's not his type, he defamed her. So he has to cough up millions for that defamation. Now, people that read more than a headline actually follow the story. We're like, this is bullshit. And then the hush money case between him and Stormy Daniels. Donald Trump knocked a porn star, and later on she came back to come and say if he no give her money, she could come out talk. Okay, that's blackmail. But you know what? Never mind. So how did he give her the money? He broke money into like 34 times and sent it to her bit by bit and filed it under campaign finances. That is why the count is up 34 counts of felony. It's not that he used campaign money, he just filed it under, which means the taxes deduction from all of that was already collected. And people in charge of election, which should be their case, they say there's no case here. State of New York, very corrupt and everything, took it upon themselves and said they must do this by force. Now, to the people that are saying it's a crime, ask yourself this. That is literally like saying you have a wife that doesn't want you to be eating chicken, and then you bought chicken and hid it and say you bought rice. Yeah, change the name, which is wrong, but how is that a crime? And even if it's a crime, how is a crime like that up to things like felon? But here's the interesting part. Hillary Clinton did the same thing too. The fake Steele dossier that they remove and start saying, oh, Trump was working with Russia, came from her and she paid for it, logged it under campaign finances. Guess what? They gave her a slap on the wrist. She's supposed to pay fine of $200 and something thousand. She's a millionaire, so you know, it means nothing. So the question people ask again, how come she's paying the fine and somebody gets 34 counts of felony? People were watching, but they kept quiet.
Hillary Clinton is gross and damaged, and we're learning she and the DNC paid former British secret agent Christopher Steele to unearth dirt on President Trump. Moments ago on Lou Dobbs, the president said Hillary is now running for cover.
Hillary Clinton totally denied this. She didn't know anything. She knew nothing. All of a sudden it found out. What I was amazed at, it's almost $6 million that they paid, and it's totally discredited. It's a total phony. I call it fake news.
So, you know, Congress has paid over $17 million in hush money for sexual misconduct inside of the offices in these buildings.
What?
And what's more is that was taxpayer money, right? The allegation is that President Trump paid $130,000 of his own money. But here in Congress, there may be some on this dais. I mean, I'm for turning loose all of these records. Who in here has had the taxpayer pay for their sexual misconduct charges the hush money? I bet there's some over there. There may be some over here. I don't know, but I do know it's taxpayer money, and I do know not a single penny of it has been turned in as a campaign finance expense. Is the FEC going to investigate the $17 million that Congress has paid to settle, behind closed doors these sexual misconduct allegations?
Then Afghanistan, the stupidest withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan, where they took out the troops first, which they're supposed to take out the civilians and the people that used to help the troops out first. Then they take out the weapons second, then they take out the troops. They didn't take out the people helping them. They went straight to the troops and they left weapons there. Now, some idiots want to blame that on Trump, but that's stupid. That has nothing to do with Trump. Biden had all the generals and everything there. Them saying that, oh, it's going to cost how much billions. They could fly to a neighboring base close by that belongs to them, keep it there. They could destroy them. Leaving them in the hands of the terrorists is stupid. I do remember in World War II, since they couldn't transport everything, they dumped them in the sea so nobody can get their hands on it. So how is it people in 1945 know what to do and the people in 2021 or 2022 don't know what to do? That showed that most of them were just daft inside here. The whole world saw that they were weak, and after that it was Ukraine. Russia invading Ukraine. People were watching and saying, what is this government doing? This is now, we're back to World War War that we did not want and we did not see under Trump. And then the worst thing that could have ever happened to the Democrats is Elon Musk bought Twitter. And for those who don't remember how that happened, is the first thing that happened is that Elon Musk tweeted something. I can't really remember what he tweeted, and they censored him. Immediately they censored him. He was like, it's on. Then he started making bids to buy them, got on their board, and then decided to buy them. Now I keep hearing some rubbish people coming out to come and say, oh, Elon Musk bought Twitter, he's doing rubbish thing with Twitter, blah blah blah, this and this. Why didn't you liberals buy it? It was on the table for people to buy. It was not making profit. No liberal billionaire wanted to buy it, so he bought it. And when he bought Twitter, he freed Twitter. When I mean free Twitter, is that before Twitter used to be an echo chamber of liberals. Okay, only conservatives get banned, only liberal things there. Conservative messages, conservative channels were turned down. The Hunter Biden laptops was completely erased. When Elon Musk bought it, he opened up Twitter, let people see that the FBI and the CIA were using Twitter to do whatever they want to do and censoring conservatives. The files even showed they were working with the FBI and Department of Justice to make sure information about COVID not be out. So they were censoring doctors that had real good information about COVID. As long as it didn't align with what the media and big pharmaceuticals were saying, they were censored.
Where did you go to medical school?
I did not go to medical school.
I'm sorry?
I did not go to medical school.
That's what I thought. Why do you think you or anyone else at Twitter had the medical expertise to censor a doctor's expert opinion?
Our policies regarding COVID were designed to protect individuals. We were seeing...
You guys censored Harvard-educated doctors, Stanford-educated doctors, doctors that are educated in the best places in the world, and you silenced those voices. Did the U.S. government ever contact you or anyone at Twitter to pressure Twitter to moderate or censor certain tweets? Yes or no?
We received legal demands to remove content from the platform from the U.S. government and governments all around the world.
Thank God for Matt Taibbi. Thank God for Elon Musk for allowing to show us in the world that Twitter was basically a subsidiary of the FBI.
And liberals couldn't be lying and getting away with all their lies anymore on Twitter. That's the only reason they are vexing with it. It's not that Elon Musk bought it. It's that it is now free for everybody to use. And that's when he started saying that, oh, the increase in hate speech have increased, which was a lie, because there was a interview person that confronted Elon Musk, and Elon Musk asked him which ones have you seen. He couldn't answer.
We've spoken to people very recently who were involved in moderation, and they just say there's not enough people to police this stuff, particularly around hate speech in the company. Is that
what hate speech are you
address?
talking about? I mean, you use Twitter.
Right.
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
Personally, for you, I would see I get more of that kind of content. Yeah, personally.
Can you name one example?
I honestly don't. Honestly, I
you
don't.
Can't name a single example. Then I say so that you don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes, because you can't give me a single example of hateful content, not even one tweet, and yet you claimed that the hateful content was high.
Well,
that's false.
No, what I claimed...
You just lied.
Anywhere.
You literally said you experienced more hateful content, and then couldn't name a single example.
Right, and as I said,
that's absurd.
I haven't actually looked at that feed.
Then how would you know there's hateful content?
Because I'm saying that's what I saw a few weeks ago. I can't give you an exact example. Let's move on.
Enter Donald Trump's failed assassination. Now, if you honestly looked at that, you would know that was not fake. First and foremost, them CNN and the rest refused to report it well. They were saying, oh, popping sound. Then they started rolling on their heads and tried to, pivot to somewhere else and tried to say, oh, the person was a Republican. And then they went to his school and said, oh, no, this person, anybody that said Trump, he hated Trump and stuff like that. There's nothing Republican about him. He was not a shy person. When it came to political stuff, he was talking anyhow and stuff like that. And then we saw the hearing of the head of the Secret Service and how much bullshit she was so full of.
Let's start with the building that the shooter used to shoot President Trump from. At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure as you can imagine that we are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation. And so I want to make sure that any information that we are providing to you is factual.
You can't, okay. Why did the Secret Service not, can you answer why the Secret Service didn't place a single agent on the roof?
We are still looking into the advanced process and the decisions that were made.
Okay. Wasn't that building within the perimeter that should be secured? Do we agree with that?
The building was outside of the perimeter on the day of the visit. But again, that is one of the things that during the investigation we want to take a look at and determine whether or not other decisions should have been made. Again, I think weapons that are out there...
If all of those guns were rocket-propelled grenades, would that make your job harder?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Perfect. This is not a trick question. Thank you.
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable. That means you are a failure at your job.
When Trump stood up and pumped out his hand, fight, that was the end. Many people didn't know. You know what Joker said? When people are close to death, your friends are close to death, they show you who they are. And there, that minute, Trump showed everybody who he is. He's fighting and he wants to keep on fighting. Trust me, when bullets are flying, it's very hard for people to do that. Heck, even Putin had to say he was impressed by that.
Я, пользуясь случаем, хочу поздравить его с избранием на пост президента Соединенных Штатов Америки. Я уже говорил, что мы будем работать с любым главой государства, которому окажет доверие американский народ. Так будет действительно. Во-первых, я вам могу сказать, его поведение в момент покушения на его жизнь, я не знаю, но на меня произвело это впечатление. Он мужественный человек оказался. И дело не только в поднятой руке и в призыве бороться за их общие идеалы. Дело не только в этом. Хотя это, конечно, знаете, на драйве, на таком, все как бы... Человек проявляет себя в условиях, в экстраординарных условиях. Вот здесь человек проявляет себя, и он себя проявил, на мой взгляд, очень правильным образом, мужественно. Как мужчина.
Putin don't get impressed that easily. That's one of the most baddest thing any president has ever done. Obama here gunshot, or that guy don't cut out. Biden for don't go to the afterlife. Kamala Harris, hey, she can't do that. Let's not just go there. Bill Clinton, if there was a hot girl there, he would have dived to protect her. Bush, well, Bush is very good at dodging shoes, so maybe he would have seen that coming. People were watching and they kept quiet. Then the debate of Biden showed up, which confirms what we've been saying for at least 4 years. Biden isn't okay up here. The media lied to you people. The media covered, and then now the media want to come and, oh, we didn't know. No, you knew. People could see that you people knew and covered up, and even when they pointed out, you people say no, it's not true. Then the debate with Kamala Harris showed up. Let me ask you people this question. I have showed you people how Kamala Harris talk in interviews and stuff like that. How then was she kind of composed in the debate? That's because I believe also she got the question and answers before the debate, just like Hillary Clinton did. It's been confirmed. Hillary Clinton's own. She got the answers and questions before the debate and still lost. On this one, Kamala Harris got the answer and questions, and then Trump was debating her and the two moderators. And anybody want to say it's not true? One of the moderators asked him about Trump saying that he kind of lost the election, and Trump said, no, I was joking when I said it that time. And the moderator said, well, I didn't feel like you were joking. Who gives a shit about your feelings? America doesn't care about your feelings. America came to hear what you're saying. So you putting your feelings there, which you say you didn't feel, was proof that Trump was even debating with you. And then the rallies showed up. Trump was coming to the rallies, doing hours talking with people. Why the other place? Kamala Harris was bringing actress artists and musicians to come and sing and dance for you people. Out of touch people come and tell you people who to vote for. People with common sense were like thinking, wait, even the people coming out that just come and say she's not Trump. Who are you? What are your policies? We want to listen to you. No. Megan Thee Stallion, come and dance. No. Cardi B, come and talk shit. No. Beyonce, come and dance and talk. Why the other places talk about issues that everybody is talking about? One, they talk about food. One, they talk about abortion. But truth be told is, now person where don't chop belle food, they go knack. Then as I said, podcasts. Trump goes to a podcast, do 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, long formats of just talking. People talking, asking sensible questions and trying to know who he is and stuff like that. Kamala Harris is refusing to go to podcasts, and even the ones she went to, silly ones like Call Me Daddy and Charlamagne the God, those that are not even in the top 10 maybe. Yeah, they're not even in the top 10 of podcasts for people to listen to them. People were seeing. Now, Robert Kennedy has been complaining about a lot of things, big companies and stuff like that. And what did the Democrats do? They kicked him out. Do you know how stupid it is for the Democrat Party to kick out a Kennedy? And he went independent, and the only person that's listening to him and his talk about making America healthy again was Donald Trump. So he paired up with Donald Trump. Tulsi Gabbard too, who is a sensible person on the left, paired up with Donald Trump. People were seeing one has policies, one wants to protect women, one wants to protect health, and one wants to protect your wallet. While the other side just only talks about trans, women, just sense of abortion, and we are not the other guy. And remember, many people have watched Kamala Harris talk. They know there's nothing up here. She's just going to be a puppet. And then they decided to vote for Donald Trump. The only people that didn't see Donald Trump winning were delusional people, people living in a bubble, and people that just hate him for no reason. And the thing they don't know is that many people don't care about him. They care about their policies and their pockets. And that was the end for everything. So I hope this has helped people understand how, if you've been looking at this thing since, I don't know, 2021, you would have seen it coming. And that's the bottom line, because Donald Trump said so.